should be coming live in a minute.
No problem.
There we go. So I think we're live now, Corey. Thank you for joining us. This is a little special episode where Correy Davidson is joining me to talk a little bit mental health and what it's all about, and how we can get help, and what's out there. Is there enough out there? Is the big question. So once again, thank you, Corey, for joining us.
No problem, Scott. No problem.
I think, Corey, last couple of times I've interviewed you, it's been in the Agba suite. We've always ended with a bottle of champagne. Unfortunately, we're not going to have any champagne for you today.
Just a little bit different today.
Just a little bit. And obviously, we're going to be touching on stuff a lot more sensitive than what we normally do. But there still will be a bit of football in there. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, that's grand. I know that's
So, first of all, Corey, if you don't mind just sort of introducing yourself and sort of your experience and how mental health has affected yourself or family members.
Well, obviously, my name is Correy. At the minute, I live in England. I moved over here about 6 years ago in terms of football. Just experience in terms of mental health. I went through it when I was 18. Well, from 16, I had a really rough experience. I lost my dad to suicide. I've lost my sister to suicide. I've got a few people in the family that struggle with mental health, my sister being one of them. So it's something that I've been around since a young age. I did have an experience myself when I was 18 where life got a little bit too hard and I done something silly. But my mum walked in, she stopped it. And since that day forward, I've literally, I've improved. Obviously, I focused a lot of my energy through football, which I was lucky enough to have. Obviously, a lot of people do have certain things that they can channel their bad energy through. It's just about finding that. And I feel there is always a silver lining no matter what. You just need to find it. You need to go out of your way sometimes to find it. It can be difficult, but there always is something. Always.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned there, Corey, that like you're in dark times and you know, your mum luckily came in at the right time and was managed just to help you through that. I mean, one day you've got great family support to kind of help you through that. But also what I want to look at is how you're feeling leading up to that, and kind of, did you feel like there was help out there? So like, you know, without your mum finding you, would you have sought help?
That's the thing. I did go to counselling and stuff, but I think sometimes when you're in such a dark place that everything around you is dark and you feel like nobody's there to help you, you don't feel like there's anything, you don't want to talk because you don't know what people are going to say back. You feel like you might be a little bit embarrassed the way you're feeling. If I could tell myself then, now, I'd be like, just go and get help. Go and talk to someone. Find something that you really love. Focus your energy through that. All the negative energy, find something to just focus on. I did have it, like, my family's really close. They're loving, they're supportive. But at that time, I just felt like it's hard to explain. It is really difficult to explain, but I felt like there was no help, even though there was. As I said, a lot of people don't like to talk out. They can be nervous, they can be shy, they can just be afraid. Or sometimes the feeling is just incredibly overwhelming that you just can't get rid of it. But I do recommend talking. It's simple. Just as simple as talking to someone can be enough to release things, 100%.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in the UMATA group, a little group of admins, we always talk about how actually it's men that are the worst for like not being able to open up, for bottling things up. You know, it's always seen as, I mean, it's a word that I used to actually use a lot when I was younger, but now I refrain from using it because I've realised the sort of damage it can have, even though it seems harmless. It's just the phrase "man up." You know, when someone says, "Oh, I feel like I'll man up," come on.
Yeah,
you know,
I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, these sort of things affects everyone. No one's kind of exempt from it. People do feel down at times. Things happen to people, you know, and there is, I think there's always someone there to listen to. Always someone to listen to you as such. Yeah. But I think a lot of people feel like they don't want to be that burden. They don't want to open up. They feel like they're weak. And I think the message to get out there is, it's not a weakness at all. We all go through it. Everyone is there. You know, everyone's got people who they can talk to, listen to. If not like directly by them, there's a lot of services out there. Facebook at the moment is full of groups like a UMATA page where people can turn to, and there's loads of support. And not just from our admins, but people that follow the page,
Yep.
always support each other. If someone puts a comment up, people come on, they give them advice, G them up a little bit, give them a bit of support.
Yeah.
And that's massively important, isn't it, at the moment?
Oh, 100%. I feel like obviously men have this whole macho side where they're like, nah, I can do this all myself. And then obviously the burdens become too big. And where do you go from there? Like, I just think if you're feeling something from the start, sit down to one of your close pals, sit down to whoever you trust in your family, just talk and say, look, I'm really feeling this way. Can you help me? Or is there something I can do? Anything. But for me, I feel as in terms of help, the community itself, in terms of people, I feel like there's more help in the community than there actually is professional help. And for me, I feel like that's more important, because obviously you can go see someone professional, but if you can speak to someone that has experience in how you're feeling. Now, don't get me wrong, everyone has different problems. Like, from not being able to afford milk to someone passing away in your family. Nobody's problem is bigger than anyone's problem. You can only face what you're facing at the time. That's how I genuinely feel. Nobody's problem is as big as anyone's. You can only go through what you're going through at the time. And I feel that the public are very good at speaking to people that way, because there is a lot of experience in that area, especially nowadays. There's so much people that goes through that kind of stuff. And I just feel if you just talk to someone, you'll find that you can relate to them completely.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just going to flick to the comments to what people have been saying. Susie says, good evening, Scott and Corey. Good evening, Susie. Susie is one of our admins on the page.
Oh, Susie.
Well, many. Donny Donaldson says, evening. Now, Donny will be interested to hear from later, because he's also like a big advocate in like male sort of mental health. Yeah. And he does a lot with football, and he also arranges like charity games to raise money and awareness. Yeah. Which I know, Corey, you do yourself, so we'll touch on that a bit later. Ange also says hi, and Ange again is one of our admins.
Hey, Ange. Hey, Donald.
So Susie says, Corey, I can't imagine the loss you have gone through. Thank goodness you got through, and to share your story and help others. Which again, it's a fantastic thing, Corey, that you're able to come on and talk about it, because it also helps other people that might be going through it in the future, to sort of know that you've been there, you've come through it. It's possible. We can do it.
Yeah, 100%. Just obviously, again, there is a silver lining, as I say, and once you come through it, when you come through this process, you kind of feel there's a bigger picture, and certain little things don't actually matter as much as they should, and you kind of realize that it is kind of all about helping others in even the simplest form. Like anything, you could smile at someone walking down the road. You know what I mean? And that could make their day better. I just feel people just need to buy into that type of stuff. Like it can be so simple. Again, it's just talking, it's just communicating, whether it is just a smile. You're still communicating with someone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, something I've noticed is I often walk like with my friend when they're walking their dogs and that. And if you're in a field walking and people walking dogs, often dog walkers will always chat to us and say, hello, good morning. But like when you're walking down the street, that doesn't happen. It's like if you've not got a dog, it's not acceptable to chat. But it is. We can say hello to everyone, even if you don't know them. You can just give them a little nod, a little tap of the tip of the hat, and all of that. Yeah, exactly. And it does. It just makes you feel a bit. Oh, someone's hello to me, brilliant.
Yeah,
just pick you up a bit in the morning.
Just touching on what Sue said. Obviously, after I came through the experience, I realized what was actually open to me, and that was just family and friends, and just speaking out. Once I came out and once I talked about it, things just became a lot easier. And obviously, I was lucky enough to have football, and I'm so passionate about football. I love football, and like every time I'm training or kicking a ball, it's just I forget about everything else that's going on. I just think sometimes if you're someone that's finding that you'll enjoy shopping, go and shop, go and read. Do you know what I mean? Go and do something, anything that can take your mind off the bad energy. And obviously with fitness, with football, anything like that, the bad energy can be channeled in a very, very positive way. And the endorphins that go through your body, you feel so positive about yourself. And just that's all. It can be just something as simple as reading. You know what I mean?
Definitely. And I think what you said about the shopping thing, kind of something I've realised during COVID was at the start of it, I never used to be the one that went shopping. I hated shopping. I'd always make other people go for me. But actually, at the start of COVID, like, because everyone sort of around me was isolating because they were shielding, and they've been told by the government to stay in, that I was on had to go out and do the shopping. And actually, now it's become something I actually quite enjoy doing on like a Saturday morning. Is getting up a little bit earlier, going around the shops. Like, I would always see Saturday as a bit of a lying day and change. But now actually, I'm up a lot earlier. I'm in the shop by 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
Going to the shopping, and it's actually changed my Saturdays lot perspective, because a lot of it would be just get up, go to football, watch football, come home, so have some tea, and go back out to a pub or something like that and spend the night. Whereas now, I'm doing more on a Saturday. There's more to it. And certainly, even when lockdown's all over, that's something I want to keep going.
See, that's what I mean. It's like something negative has happened, but yet you've managed to turn it into something positive. So that's what I mean. No matter what comes your way, you can always change it, and you can always be positive about something. And that's all it is. It's just tweaking. It's just tweaking little things, like something that's bothering you. Just, if you can, just motivate yourself to try change it. That's all it is, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think it's the point as well as that I would always look at shopping as a negative, but now I actually look at it as a positive.
Yeah.
But, just because I've done it for a bit, and I've thought, actually, I'm enjoying it. So, I mean, sometimes we see these things and think, oh, I wouldn't like that. But until you actually do it and start going out and trying it, you don't realize actually it could make a change. I didn't want to get up at 8 o'clock in the morning to go shopping. Sounded like an absolute chore to me.
Yeah, literally.
But no, it's not, and I enjoy it. So it's maybe trying those things, challenging yourself a little bit. And realizing that some of the things out there are actually more enjoyable than you think.
That's it. And it's just that conversation you have first thing you wake up in the morning. It's with yourself, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do I get up? Or do I get up? Do I stay? Do I do this? Do I do? You just gotta have to get rid of that bad energy. Go, I am actually gonna do that. Forget about it. I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean?
I was always a staying guy, but now I'm up. Even on Sunday mornings, I'm up now. So
that's it. It's a conversation you have with yourself. You're winning.
Yeah, that's definitely changed me. So Sarah, who's also one of our admins, and also the mayor of Kidderminster.
Hello, Sarah.
Says disengagement is a common issue. Amy says hello both. Rachel, Corey's mother, says very proud of my boy.
Hey, man.
just make you go red a little bit and blush.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Amy says, I lost my dad too. It's true. People talking who have had similar experiences does help. This page is wonderful. I mean, that's great to hear sort of from it. And it is, I mean, the fact that, there was talking and people can share their experiences and help. And it's what this page is about. It's what we're trying to do now. Just get the word out there, get the stigma out there.
And that's what I feel. I feel like it's everyone like you, everyone that's on the page. It's that how it's actually broadcasted more for me. Like you always see people going out of their way to make this more aware. Like you never, as I say, you never see advertisement about it. Well, you do, but it's very, very slim. Whereas I always see people talking about on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. Like it's the community that makes these things more aware. And obviously, I'm sorry. Was it Amy? Did you say lost her dad?
Amy, yeah.
I'm sorry to hear about your loss, Amy. But obviously, you're still here. You're being positive, and you've turned it around. Again, like you speak to people, you probably find out you have more in common with a lot of people than you actually know. And again, it's only when you actually talk, you realize, oh, I'm not the only person going through this. Someone else has experienced this, and that's what I mean about communicating. If people could communicate more, the world would be such a better place, like 100%.
Yeah, definitely. But I do feel that's something that's, I mean, it's still a massive improvement needed on it, but it has improved massively as well over the last few years. I mean, if you go back like 20 years ago, nobody used to talk, especially in the male sort of community, wouldn't talk about it. I mean, and it's getting better. People are talking more, but it does, like, especially again with the mouthing, we do need to talk more, be open more.
Yeah,
I used to be a bit of a closed book with everything years ago.
Yeah.
And I never really wanted to open up to people, admit things. And I've started, as I got older, sort of started doing that more. And actually, you find that people don't judge you for it like you think they're going to.
Exactly.
People want to help you. People want to give you, the strength to get over the line.
Exactly. Like it's like you say that. Obviously, when I was younger, I was a little bit reserved. I was kind of angry all the time, and it was only because I was holding back the emotion that I actually had. And you'd be lashing out, you'd be getting angry over silly little things that shouldn't actually really bother you. And it's like now I'm totally chilled about certain things that I wouldn't be when I was younger.
Yeah.
And that's obviously because I'm able to talk and I'm able to communicate. And if there's something bothering me, I'll say. And it's
Yeah.
it's it's massive. It's actually so big. Talking is huge. It's so simple, but it's huge. It makes you so much better. It honestly does, like 100%.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, from someone south that used to also be very reserved and think people were going to laugh at me for saying stuff. When you open up, you realise that people aren't like that, and people will generally want to help you and support you through it. And it's not you showing a weakness; it's actually showing strength in my eyes to talk out.
100%.
Yeah,
It's harder to speak than not speak, and that's a fact.
yeah,
That is.
I totally agree with that one. In the comments, we've got Rob Collins. He says, "Hi Scott, I'm here. I agree. I have tried to reach out for help and to get some same support for my youngest boy. Absolutely nothing. He lost his fight at the age of 16. This is what the Green Bows are for, to get help. So, as I mentioned there, his son lost a battle at the age of 16 and took his own life.
It's awful
In
news.
Kidderminster at the moment, a lot of people will probably be seeing there's a lot of green bows tied to cars, vans. The fire trucks have now put them on theirs. This is part of Rob's campaign, which
Okay,
is doing, which is
brilliant,
hashtag Mitch's Law,
brilliant.
to try and get more sort of mental health help for younger people. Who are at school who are told that they don't qualify for help. You know, you can't really measure that in my eyes, how much people
No,
need, how much they don't.
no.
So I don't see how that can be a sort of a thing to do. But Rob's trying to obviously get that changed and get it so there is more help out there. He
Yeah,
did plan in July to do a walk. And a lot of people on the page have seen this before with Mitch's Law. He was going to walk from Wolverley, which is a village in Kidderminster, where his son went to school. And there's a bench there. He was going to walk from there to Parliament. So more or
okay.
less like from Kidderminster all the way
Yeah,
to the Parliament doors to present the signatures that everyone signed to get the sort of mental health changed for the help and that for younger people, which is one hell of a challenge
yeah, of
to
course.
walk that far. It was going to be done over like 2 weeks with staying over at certain places along the way. It's a mammoth task. Unfortunately, it had to get postponed because of COVID.
Yeah.
But Rob is still planning on doing that
No, that's brilliant, Rob.
when he can.
100%
So
behind that.
he's still going on his practice walks. He's still going out and spending his time. So it is still a thing. If anyone hasn't yet, there is a Mitch's Law on change.org to get this change. Rob, if you can put the title of it in the page. I can't remember the title off the top of my head. But if you go on there, you can sign the petition to help get this changed. The signatures I know they've gone over 10,000. I'm sure there's been a lot more since. Again, Rob, if you got the figures, maybe you could put them in for us. But there's been a massive support on it, and if we can get more signatures, that'd be fantastic.
That's amazing.
Chris Millington says, "Respect, Corey." Scott too. Great to get talking.
Good. How's it going, lads?
So Susie replying to Rachel, Cora's mother, to say, "You must be beyond proud. Well done to you, Mama D. Nothing harder than when your child is feeling helpless. I get it." Johnny says, "Corey, love this taboo needs to be broken in sport. I did a charity game for my mind with stars like Lee Hendry and Frankie Gavin." And there's a lot of other ex-footballers on there as well. Anne says, "Corey, I lost an Irish singer friend to suicide. He was involved with Shine. Have you heard of it?"
No, I haven't actually.
No.
Obviously, I'm sorry for your loss, but I haven't heard of the group.
Donny says, "Football makes it all better." Again, it's going back. I think, is it like if you're into football, like myself, Corey, it helped you cope, and it can be massive for those people who have something like that to sort of concentrate on. But for other people, it might not be football. It might be another sport. It might be something like athletics. it might just be something like fishing. It's something that you can do to take your mind off things. Even not even sport wise, it could just be going for a walk.
Yeah, exactly.
One of our,
Go ahead.
one of our admins, Jamie, he's a big advocate of walking to sort of help with his for mental health, and when he's feeling a bit thing, he just goes for a walk, walks it all out.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. He finds something positive to channel there. It's brilliant. It's as simple as walking. Just to touch on Rob's thing, I'm sorry for your loss, pal. Obviously, with the whole, he didn't pass for the mental health check. How can you judge someone on that? Honestly, who are we to judge someone? Like if they're struggling at the end of the day, no matter what capacity it is. If they feel like they need help, how can you turn around and say no? You don't qualify. How can you say no to helping someone? That's where we're lost. You can't. No matter who needs help, you need to say, yeah, of course, we're here. Here's the open door. Come in. We'll help you. We'll talk. Even if it's something ridiculous, we'll talk. And I think that's an absolute. And the thing is, the fact that you have to go out of your way to open this conversation, I feel it's an absolute joke. To be honest with you, it should be just natural.
Yeah, definitely. And I know Rob is, like mentioned, he's doing lots of different things, lots of campaigns to try and get this stigma sort of overturned. Yeah, so younger people do feel like they can talk more, and that there are services out there that they can go to that will help them, that will listen to them from advice and guidance, and sometimes just be that ear that they need.
I think it's worse for the younger generation now as well, though, isn't it, with social media and stuff, and it's how easy you can be judged on social media, because there is a lot of bullies out there as well. And obviously you've seen cases where they have been bullied. So it is a lot harder for kids now. And I feel as in it should be broadened a lot more, because they should know that's harder for kids now. Do you know what I mean? So the help should be broadened a lot more than it actually is. But it's people like Rob and people like this whole thing they're amazing. Like the effect they're having is incredible. Honestly.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, I do remember seeing a TV program that it was like, it was an acted one, but it was looking at the kind of social media effects of having kids. And it was following a girl who was being bullied on social media and stuff. But a lot of sort of images she'd put out would be happy. Yeah. It would show you her taking a picture with her smiling and saying like loving life at this place. And then as soon as she took the camera off, she was sad again.
Yeah.
And it's like there's this perception that people on social media look like they're having great fun, that they're really enjoying themselves, because that's what they want you to see.
Yeah.
But actually behind it, they're not. So I think we've got to be careful with social media that it doesn't mislead you to think, oh, no, someone's fine. Like, I've just saw a picture of them on the beach, they're absolutely loving life.
That's the thing, isn't it? Obviously, my sister goes through a lot. I know she won't mind me talking about it. She does. She suffers with mental health, and she just had a bit of a tragedy lately. But she doesn't realize how strong she actually is. To be honest with you, she's been going through it for years now, and obviously she's still here. She's still pushing on. What happened to her recently is probably one of the biggest things that can actually happen to someone. But she got up the next day. She's getting on with life. She's gonna feel upset, obviously, and she's gonna feel like the world's on her shoulders at some stage. But she knows, obviously, now that she can talk, she can speak about it. And as I say, sometimes when you go through these challenges in life, you come out the other end and you really don't know yourself. Like, you get this confidence, you get this whole thing saying, well, I've been through this. Now this little thing that happens to me next will probably seem a little bit minor. And it's just every day building yourself. And again, it's just touching on what I said earlier. If you find something to focus on, if you find something to pass all your energy to, I think that'll help. I honestly believe that helps. I really do. Right.
So I think we're in a lot of comments coming in. We've got 37 unread comments to try and get through at the moment.
No problem.
So thank you to everyone who's putting in your comments and sharing. We are trying to get through them as much as we can. Amy says, it's all you can do. I buried him on my birthday, which is tomorrow. So I'm sorry about your experience. Our loved ones we have lost, I believe, are always with us.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. 100%.
Rob has put Mitch got to the point where he had to reach out and was failed. So let's talk. I mean, again, that's a big thing. Is talking. I don't think we can stress as much as talking, but we also need services that are there for
Yeah,
people.
100%.
That if they turn to them, that they're there to support them and not turn them away.
You
I mean,
can't turn someone away. You just cannot turn someone away that needs help. It's as
no.
simple as, because they're the effects of saying the word no can have. Like, that could be so overpowering to someone. Just the word no can be so overpowering to someone, you know what I mean? And then they feel worthless.
It's rejection, isn't it? I mean, at the time like that, the worst
Yeah.
thing you need is rejection when you're probably feeling rejected anyway.
Exactly. Exactly.
Deborah says, my friend's son took his own life the other week. I mean, it's terrible to hear, isn't it? I mean, it's happening all the time around us.
It's a constant. I feel now it's a constant thing. Like, there's always bad news, and it seems to be suicide all the time. And
yeah,
I honestly, it's hard to take in. It's hard. It's hard, and that's why I'd push on support and just making everything aware. The work that, obviously, a lot of people don't know the work that goes on behind scenes. Obviously, I'll touch on Rob and Mitch's law. It's just little things like that are huge. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it starts off with one signature, and now he's got over 10,000. You know what I mean? It's just backing people and getting the word out there.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I can see Rob's put down here saying like this needs to be nationwide. And the plan is that it is going to start spreading, not just to stay local, but to get the message out across the whole of England. I spoke to Rob earlier, and the Green Bows thing, they're sending them all over the country now. He's got some that are going to Carlisle, some that are going down to Sussex, I think he said. There's like 300 or 400 going down. I think they've had some in Macclesfield, a big load. So there are all different areas that are starting to pick up on it. They're starting to join it, to support, which is absolutely massive.
Yeah, 100%. That's huge. It's huge.
Yeah. And when Rob does his walk, it's going to be televised when he gets to Downing Street. So hopefully he'll be hitting like Sky News and things like that.
It's worldwide. It becomes worldwide then. You know what I mean? So,
and
it's brilliant.
Yeah. And that'll be fantastic for Rob. He's put a lot of effort into it.
Yeah, I can tell.
Deborah says, where can I get a green bow? But if you put a message on the site, on the UMatter site about it, I can get some arranged for you, or Rob Collins can get one over to you. We can get it delivered if need be. But yeah, so just pop a post on and we'll sort out for you after. Amy says agreed with Rob. Marie is also one of our admins, and probably one of our more qualified sort of in mental health than what most of us are. And she put, yes, it does need to be nationwide. So hopefully we can all sort of work together and help get that out there. And says, Rob Collins, you set me off again. I think we're getting a few tears now.
Yeah. It's not the easiest subject to talk about in the world.
No.
But it's the one that's affecting most people. So I feel like it needs to be talked about a lot more than it should be. Again, just to help people, like, it needs to be talked about again. Nationwide, worldwide, like, it doesn't matter. It needs to be talked about.
Definitely. I mean, keep saying it. Just talk. Donny Donaldson says, want to give a massive shout out to Graham Ward, my Irish friend in football. Helps me so much. You guys are brilliant what you're doing. So Graham was also an ex-Harriers player as well, Graham Ward.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I think more in their football league days in 2003-ish, if I had to guess. There's a lot of comments to Deborah. Marie says, there really is nothing harder than when your child feels helpless. It can make you feel helpless as a parent. So, I mean, okay, that's quite a good point from Marie to look at is, if a child's suffering, I mean, that's bad enough as well. But it does have that knock-on effect as well. So if a parent is aware of it and they're helping support their child, that can be quite tough to hear what their child is saying, to see what they're going through. So they would also need support on the back of that as well.
That is exactly it. Obviously, I've seen my mum go through it on a few occasions, obviously, in terms of me as well. You don't, I think sometimes when you're going through, you don't really think about anyone else. That it can also it could like almost look like it's a selfish thing, but realistically, it's actually not, because it's how you're feeling and it's how you're expressing how you're feeling sometimes. And looking in on it, that's what I can talk from experiences with my mum and my sister and stuff. So looking in on it, I can see how hard it is on my mum, and I can see how hard it is on my sister. And it's for two completely different reasons. Obviously, my mum is feeling like she can't help my sister, and obviously my sister is feeling like my mum can't help her. So you're caught in this enigma where you're like, what do I do? Like, how do I approach this? You know what I mean? So for the parents that are going through it and are still there and they're still helping, like, just know that you're strong. You're strong, a lot stronger than you actually think. Trust me, a lot stronger.
I just saw loads of love hearts coming up during that as well. So there's a lot of love being shared around there. So Rob Collins has said hashtag Mitch's Law, or go to change.org and do a search for change to service regarding young people's mental health. And it's now over 11,000 signatures.
Brilliant. That's excellent.
That's fantastic. I mean,
well
the original goal was 10,000, which has been met. They've smashed that. I believe they now set it at 15,000. So if people can still get sharing it, sign it. If anyone hasn't yet signed it, you can go to change.org and do the search. It will go a long way to helping these services get out there.
Just keep surpassing. 15,000 will turn to 20,000, will turn to 50,000. So just keep going.
Yeah, definitely. And the more you share it, the more they share it. It just gets it out there more. So,
100%.
Amy says she loves walking. Marie goes running, which again, fantastic ways of getting them all out there. Susie says, Rob, you are an inspiration. Mitch's army is growing by the day, sending huge hugs. And again, it is. It's getting bigger and bigger, Mitch's Law. And more people are supporting it, which is fantastic. We got Marie says, it really is so much harder for kids now. It's heartbreaking that they are being let down by services that should be supporting. Rob says, that is why my boys plaque says always talk. Please see my Facebook page to get the real story, or Facebook Mitch's Law or Mitch Collins New. So if anyone does want to look more into it, there's a lot of stuff on Facebook, hashtag Mitch's Law, or you can look at Rob Collins's page. There's a lot of information on there regarding it all, or Mitch Collins' new Facebook page. Donnie says, mental health for me is a daily battle. My physical tiredness can affect for mental well-being. It's like someone who's being an addict can only judge someone who's walked a mile in their shoes. We have also good and bad days. The ones who understand, like me, always help people. And again, from like I was saying, we mentioned earlier, but on the page, people are fantastic at, not just the admins, but if someone puts a message on there, all the members in the group come on, they offer advice, support. It is overwhelming to see all the help that people are giving each other.
Yeah. So it's like an energy. It's like an energy, really.
It is.
Like if you wake up and you're having a bad day and you see someone's posting what they're going through and it's similar to yours, but yet they're being positive about it, that energy can rub off on you. Yeah. And it's a knock-on effect. So, if they can do it, I can do it. Let's get up. Let's get going. Let's go for a walk. Let's go for a jog. Let's read a book. Let's just channel this bad energy into some positive energy. And it can be as simple as that. So obviously in the group of stuff, when there is a positive message, it's definitely helping. 100%. It is definitely helping. I agree.
Definitely, because I think when people are in that negative stage for themselves, they'll always just be negative about it. So they're not going to build themselves back up. They're going to be negative. So other people offering that positive support can help bring them back into a positive mood, as you just said, and then they can build on being positive. So it's just someone giving them a help to get out of negative into positive, so that they can then start moving forward. And it is great to share. So people putting the posts on there and getting support, it is fantastic to see.
I've seen it over the last few days as well. Obviously, being in the group, being involved, I've seen all the positive messages that go in, and it's amazing. Honestly, it's great.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that put inspirational posts out each day. And stuff. We got members that write poems, with just inspirational messages in that, go out there. So yeah, there's great support in the group, which is it's what we need at the moment, especially in times that,
Right
that
now,
we're in at the moment.
right now where you're limited as well.
Yeah,
Limited to do anything really. It's good. It's nice to have that.
So Andrew White says it's a lot harder this time of year and with a pandemic as well. Yeah, exactly what we were just mentioning. It's even tougher when people can't go out, do things they enjoy, see family members, see their loved ones. And says, Corey, it will be down to young people like yourself. Hey, young people like yourself. I know. I never got included in the young. Lead the way through sport and encouraging young men to talk.
Yeah. I agree with that. I try, to be fair, every year in terms of like suicide awareness, I hold a football game back home. It's done in the summer, just to raise money for suicide awareness, give as much as I can. It's all about helping people communicate. It's all about just making it aware, even in my area. But that's where I say it's the community that make it happen. It makes it happen. Like when I go home, you wouldn't believe where I'm from. Like they just get together so well, and the support and just the love in it all. It can be overwhelming just to even look in on that, you know what I mean? And then obviously being a part of it, like it's what I set up. So seeing people support it the way they do, it's actually unbelievable. And it's just little things like that actually help. And there is a lot of it's not just me, obviously. There is a lot of people that do football games, golf games, anything like that, just to raise awareness. And there's so much happens everywhere. Do you know what I mean? It's honestly, it's brilliant. Like I love it.
Yeah, and what you're saying then about, sort of the feeling of seeing it sort of coming on and seeing it happening, seeing people spread it, see it like evolving into what it is. So other people getting involved in that might be suffering from mental health issues that say, Corey, I'd like to give you a hand on this, For them also being a part of that and seeing it evolve, it can also help them a lot in their progress forward,
Couldn't agree more.
Because they're saying, I'm part of something special. I'm part of a change, and
that is why you do it, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
You do it, and that's helping people. That's what the whole process is about. Obviously, if you raise money for the charity that you're picking, that is a bonus. But it literally, you don't know what's going on in someone's life in that group, and just the fact that they could hand out a leaflet for you, and they'll go home and say, "Oh, well, I helped with this thing today, and it's actually looked like it's pretty big. It's raised a lot of money, and I've helped in that in some form of way." And that's all it takes. That is literally all it takes. Like
it's that thing of feeling included, isn't it? Like being part of something. So it can say to members, if you're doing something, if you're doing a community scheme, put it out there for people to help, and if people get involved, it's a sense of achievement for them, which helps. It can go a long way. Carol Heseltine says, Rob, you are inspiring thousands. Greenbows are growing so fast. So many now went out and about for work. You'll make a difference. Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing the green bows everywhere now, which is fantastic. As I said, the fire trucks have added them to theirs now. I know Royal Mail, when they go into the cars, they've all got the bows on.
It's hard. It's hard for them as well. Like that must have taken a lot for him to even start that. I couldn't imagine the pain that he went through. Just to get out of that and do what he's doing now and the thousands that have signed, honestly, you should be proud of yourself because that is special. That is honestly special.
To that, so I know Rob through work, and he's been absolutely fantastic through all how he's come through it, and now he's trying to help other people. They might be going down the same sort of path, to take a different road, and he really is putting a lot of work into it for something that's obviously going to be so upsetting for him.
Yeah.
So as people are saying it, Rob really is inspirational, and a lot of that. So Rob says, Corey, please join my Facebook and we can talk one-on-one.
Yeah, 100%.
So if you want, I could send you Rob's Facebook link later, Corey. Have a chat.
Please do.
Susie says, Scott Jones, you're doing an incredible job. Cheers, Susie. Your $5 in the post. Sat with tears streaming down my face. My daughter lives with depression and often doesn't want to be here. When your child says, I want to live, but I want it all to stop. My son is a soldier and lost friends to suicide 2 years ago. And recently, it breaks my heart. Sadly, people believe they are better off without them. I did. Just urge to not give up. Correy is an ambassador, and me and Ange in love with that accent. There we go. You guys have a couple of fans there, Corey.
I shouldn't have laughed through that speech, but that made me giggle. I'm sorry for everyone's losses. It is hard living with. It's hard living with a battle every day, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, it is. But like, I think things you take from those messages as well. There is like, it's sad what they're talking about. There's still always like a little bit of a joke in there, a little bit of positivity, a little bit funny.
Exactly.
Just to kind of line it up. And I think that's what we need to remember. Like, there are going to be sad times with it. There are going, it's really hard to go through, and people suffer massively with it. But it's good sometimes to have that person that just puts their arm around you and just makes you laugh.
Exactly. To be fair, there's days where I see my sister and she's laughing, and she's the most bubbly person in the world, and she's amazing. She doesn't realize how amazing she is. Like, she's so lovely. And then she'll wake up the next day and she doesn't want to talk. She just wants to lay in bed. And looking in on it, it's hard to see. It's hard to look at. And you almost want to shake the person, don't you? I'm sure everyone that's experienced it, you just want to shake the person and say, what's going on? Like, but
100%. I mean, my dad was the same. Like, growing up, my dad was always a sort of outgoing character, very funny, going down the pub with his mates all the time. Sort of like a typical bloke of like the late 90s sort of thing. But then in the last 10 years of his life, he sort of lost that. He got struck down with mental health. And it's sometimes tough to see that person that was so happy and so thinking that down, and occasionally he would come out of it and he'd be again like that funny person, cracking jokes all the time, and the next day he'd be the most miserable person ever again.
See, that's where I can actually tell you with experience. Like, my sister that did pass away through suicide, like, if you met her, she was the most loveliest, bubbliest person, like laughing all the time. She was just mad. She was just amazing person. And just to not even see the change, like, I mean, you didn't see the change. She was just she was so happy, so like right up until the last second, and then it was just boom, just all taken away. And that's what I'm trying to say. Sometimes you just don't see what the person is going through, because from one change to another change, it's just drastic measures. It's just unbelievable. And it was the same with Dad. Like, I spoke to him 2 days before he passed, and he was telling me he couldn't wait to see football and this and that. And again, you just don't see it coming. It's like a train just hits you, and it's just And that's what I'm saying. It needs to be put out there, because people need to talk. It needs to be made more aware than it is. 100%.
And that's it. It's exactly right. You're saying, there's some people that you can see it in. Some people do go downhill with it, and like they go really into depression. But some people don't always show it. Some people they're suffering quietly in the background, but in the foreground to you, they're still the same person you've always met, and you don't see that change because they're hiding it. And that's the tough part sometimes of it, isn't it?
That is it. That is it, because that's what you can't stress it enough. But you really don't know what the person sitting next to you is going through. Yeah. You just don't. You just don't.
No, it's like a mask, isn't it? It's all hiding behind it. They come up this front, but you don't know what's behind. Sarah says, I constantly hear that people don't meet the criteria or threshold. It's utterly ridiculous. Mental illness is different for everyone. You can't say anything more than that, can you? It is no. There's no really one sign of being able to say that someone's got mental health. As we were just saying, some people are still the same person. You can't see it,
That's literally what I touched on earlier in terms of people's problems. I said you can't judge someone's problem, because everyone is going through something different, and nothing's bigger than what the problem you're going through there and then, and it's affecting you in a way that's affecting you. And so I'm a big believer in nobody's problem is bigger than the one you're going through. You know what I mean? Because you can only face what is in front of you. You can't look left, you can't look right. Like, what you're facing is what you're facing, and there is people there to help you deal with it. 100%. You just need to back yourself, really.
Yeah, I just think the fact that there's services out there that are turning people away because they don't meet a criteria is it's just ridiculous. And I know that's what Rob is fighting to change.
Exactly.
And Rob knows I'm with him on that battle all the way. And I think there's so many other people in this group that are 100% behind Rob and supporting him.
Well, I'm 100% behind him now. I didn't know about it, but I'm backing him 100% now. Because it's amazing.
Yeah, it is. It is fantastic. And talking to Rob, it says an Olympian wants to set a world record on Mitch's 18th birthday. Kevin Brown.
Look at that.
Look at that. That'd be quite good to know what world record that is. Rob, that's fantastic to get again. Getting something out there, getting the recognition for it. That's fantastic news. We've got another message for you, Corey, from Ange White saying, "Love your accent, Corey."
Thanks, Anne.
It's a big hit tonight, that is.
Thanks, Anne.
Kat says, "Well done, you two. So important to talk mental health and support, and even more important to come from two men." I've not been called a man for a while. That's decent. To be discussing it. Hopefully, this will inspire more young men to talk. Big love.
Well, that's all I want to do. I just want to help people that's suffering. I've been there. I've been in the most darkest place you could possibly be, and to come through it, it's just to put the word out there that you actually can. Like, you actually can. You just need to find a way. Obviously, you can come through it. Just talk. Just if you're in a dark place, just know there's a way out. But obviously, sometimes you need to motivate yourself to get out of that dark place, and that's probably the hardest thing. But that's what we call it motivation, isn't it?
Yeah,
literally.
Definitely, and yeah, like I said, if you get people to help you, support you through it, talk to people, then it makes it that little bit easier to know that there's a friend with you as well. Rob says, "Corey, is there a way to link up?" Rob, I'll link you and Corey up after the chat.
Yeah, you can send me or Scott can send you on my phone number or whatever if you're okay with that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's all right with you, Corey, no problem. We'll try and hurry up because I know Corey's got a fitness session to teach in a minute.
Take your time, you're okay.
Which I want to talk about before we go, just how the fitness can help. So Rob, so Susie says, "You have one incredible brother." This isn't referring to Rachel. You are an inspirational family from Kidderminster to Ireland with love.
Thank you.
Rob says the charity is a Reach Out Care in the community. So that's a local charity.
Reach Out
to Rob. And doing a lot of work with Rob at the moment in terms of mental health.
The charity that I would use would be Peterhouse back home in Ireland. Yeah. They had a lot to do when I was counselling growing up and stuff. And obviously a few members of my family have also been to Peterhouse. So it's been a massive part of our family for years, really. So I'll just get back. Yeah,
that's something great to hear, that there's an outlet out there that's helping people, and it has helped so many people. Just in one family, you've got a few there that it's been fantastic for. So that's great to hear. Matthew Ann says, great work, Rob. I think we're all in awe of Rob, really, with everything that he's done.
We should be, because it's amazing.
Rob says, "Scott, you're doing such an amazing thing. The accent is something I grow up with." There's a lot of love for this accent, Corey. Yeah, I
know. I'm glad. I'm feeling the love as well, which is good.
Not much love for my thick Brummie accent though. So Bethany Hatton says, "You're both really inspiring. Thank you for doing this chat."
No problem.
Again, Corey, thank you for taking the time and joining us on this.
No problem at all.
Craig Murphy says, "What does annoy me is the companies that seem to come across as big on mental health and well-being, and it's just words. When it comes to the crunch, they don't really know how to support or help." Again, Craig, there is a lot of that. People that because it's seen as the thing at the moment. Mental health, it's a big issue out there, and there are lots of people that are trying to help with it, that are trying to support. But I think there are companies that say, "We support this to get a good name." And
I couldn't agree more.
So it would be good to see those taking action and actually doing it, because, like I said, everywhere. I mean, every workplace in my eyes should have mental health and well-being. I don't know whether they can have it sites on the internet where people go and read information about it. They have days where they just talk to people about it, have people in to talk. It's so important, especially in workplaces where it's very stressful. You know, a lot of people are under a lot of pressure.
There is a lot of environments that are stressful that can bring out the worst in you as well. Don't get me wrong. Like, you understand, obviously, you go to work and it's a hard place to be. But again, I think because it's so huge now, I feel that workplace should always have something sitting on standby.
Yeah.
And just let every single colleague they have, every client they have, know that if they need to talk, there's things in place, there's things available to help. And I feel you'd go to work a little bit more relaxed then, just knowing that if I have a bad day, there's something there.
Yeah, definitely. You know, like I said, some people can have most of their stress will come from work, and they go home, they worry about work, and it is good to have that sort of outlet there for them. So I agree. I would like to see more from companies, not just saying it, actually doing it.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Kat says, sometimes the people with the loudest laugh and the brightest light are fighting with themselves daily. It's important to talk, and it's important to ask, how are you? Even those that seem to have it all sorted. And definitely, I mean, that's referring to what we were talking about earlier, is, you know, just because someone comes into the room and they're like, oh, hello, and all this, it doesn't mean that on the inside they're the same.
Yeah.
You know, on the inside they could be feeling the complete opposite. But
well, the biggest example of that was Robin Williams, wasn't it?
Yes.
Really.
That's a great example. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. Who would have thought that, really?
Exactly. He's the funniest person. He's got all these comedy films, all these. He's such an amazing person, but he was suffering. So if he's suffering, then that's what I mean. You don't know the person next to you, what they're going through. You know what I mean? So
that's it. And I always think when it comes like this, everyone's got the opportunity to be a great actor. You know, to hide that thing and be someone that they're not really, or not what they're feeling. When
realistically, you should not be hiding that.
No,
because it eats you. It eats you alive, like it does.
It does, and it just only gets worse. And
exactly.
If you just get out there, speak to someone. I mean, even sometimes if the person can't help you, if you just say it to someone, and they just have that, and they just listen to you.
It's just getting off your chest. Literally, just because it's a weight. It feels like a weight. Obviously, just from experience, it does feel like a weight sitting here, and it's almost like you're suffocating, like you're smothering. And once you get the courage to get it off your chest, the weight gently lifts a little bit every time you talk, literally.
Yeah, and that's it. It's, you know, it doesn't have to be to a professional. It doesn't have to be someone that's going to be able to help you. Just by you saying it and them listen, it can have, like you said, a massive lift for you. Literally. Get everything off your shoulders.
100%.
Yeah. Rob says again, we need to talk. The sucker punched. The topic sucker punched me on Friday. I was not prepared. Mitch didn't meet the criteria until it was too late. And again, that's the thing, isn't it? Like, what is the criteria? Because
there shouldn't be a scale. You shouldn't be judged on how you're feeling. It's as simple as that. If you walk into a building, you need help, no matter what it is.
Yeah,
accept them and help them.
The problem is, well, they've set I mean, like I said, there shouldn't be a criteria, but they've set it so high that by the time people qualify for it, it's more or less too late anyway. And we should be stopping it down here, not letting it get to a certain point.
Exactly. That is literally exactly. Should be nipped in the bud there and then.
In terms of football, Corey, you wouldn't wait to go 5-0 down before you start trying to win the game. You know,
exactly. It's pointless, isn't it? It's pointless. Yeah. That's what I mean.
You know, and that's the same, isn't it? You don't want to start halfway through the battle. You want to start at the front of the battle.
You want to get going there. You want to help as soon as the person needs help. You want to help the person there and then, so you can get them back on their feet straight away, rather than have them crawl into your door. You know what I mean? Like it's just ridiculous.
That's it. So like I said, we've said several times about the show, a criteria for help is ridiculous, really.
It shouldn't even exist. It's just a shambles.
So Lee says, if you haven't already, can we discuss how we get men talking, considering a low activity on our men's mental health group? Sorry, I'm late and probably missed loads. So Lee is the guy that kind of got me into the You Matters group. He's a local counsellor in Kidderminster, one of my longest friends. And he was this group was kind of one of his ideas, and he's put all the admins in. And
it's hard, Lee. it's hard to break the man down to actually get him to speak about what's going on in his head.
Yeah.
Because you know yourself, we all have this macho thing, and we don't like, it's a big word, but we don't like feeling weak and vulnerable and open. But that's probably one of the strongest things. That's probably one of the most macho things you can do, really, is open up your emotions, is let people know how you're feeling.
Yeah.
And I think it's like a constant reminder. You just need to keep reminding men, especially, that you can talk. And that's why these groups and these chats and these everything are so huge, because it needs to keep reminding people. It needs to keep reminding them that it's okay to talk. It's okay to feel weak. It's okay to feel vulnerable. You're human at the end of the day, and that's what you're going through. So yeah, it's just a constant reminder, Lee. And that's how I feel. That's the only way that's going to help people talk. It's just reminding that people are there.
So I think one of the main things to point out is, so myself, Lee, and a few of the members of this group decided to create a sort of male-only group away from the UMATA group, from the main group, so just called UMATA male group, where it could just be for men to go in. So they're not, there's no women in the group, so people can feel free to talk. And we're still getting hardly any activity in that group. So there's not as many nowhere near as many members as there are men in the main group. But it's still like no one there really opens up. No one comes on and talks. I'll occasionally put some football stuff in there, which
even
gets
on
a bit of conversation.
Even on that, it's literally just, again, I'll just touch on the reminder. Like, just remind them that you're there. Remind them that it's okay to talk, even if it's just a little simple message. Just, it's okay to talk, lads. If you're feeling a bad day, private message me. Hit the other lads up. Just let people know if you're feeling badly. It's just a constant reminder, isn't it? Because eventually, if someone keeps reminding you about something, you're gonna go, okay, I've had enough now. I'm gonna tell you how I feel. You know what I mean?
Just to shut you up, yeah.
Literally, that's all it is. Like, tell me. Eventually, you're gonna tell them.
Yeah. Perfect. So to go back from Rob, he says he is fighting this and much more. Believe me, I will not give up on this. And from what I know of Rob, he certainly is not going to give up.
Nah, he doesn't sound like he is, and I wouldn't recommend giving up.
In fact, every day he ramps it up every day and gives more.
That's brilliant. It's amazing what he's doing, and the energy, the positive energy that he's sending off for someone that's gone through a tragedy it's inspirational, really.
Yeah,
so
100%. And so many people have echoed that, how inspirational Rob has been. Amy says, my work is so good at supporting the staff. We're so lucky. I mean, that's great, to hear there are companies out there that are really looking after their staff.
But they need to buy into it. Other companies need to buy in to what these companies are doing.
Yeah. Really,
that's all it is. Knock-on effect.
Because
at the end of the day, Scott, it's a competition as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If one of the biggest companies in England or whatever turns around and says we're offering free support for everyone, every other company is gonna go, oh, well, they're doing it, we better do it. And before you know, the whole country's surrounded by free mental health care. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it becomes like the industry standard then, doesn't it? Because
it's just all propaganda. They all want to outdo each other. So why can't they outdo each other on a positive? You know what I mean? It's as simple as that. Like,
you use the business tactics against them,
Yeah, literally.
So Rob says Mitch was failed. The inquest was as bad of the day. I cannot talk about this as going through the legal system. I will not stop until we have justice and the required support. I know like that's still in process at the moment, so Rob can't really touch on the legal side of things. Kat says, for anyone with smaller children, there's a lovely story called Me and My Monster. And at the start of the story, the monster is bigger than the child. And throughout the story, the monster stops the child being able to play with friends and do things and enjoy things that they enjoy. And once the child finds a safe adult to talk with, the monster begins to shrink. And by the end of it, the monster is small. I feel like you're giving a plot away there, Kat. The story.
It's clever. I don't need to read the book anymore.
Yeah, giving the story there. But again, I think it's just basically saying, that with the help and support, they managed to even out the playing field.
Exactly. Again, it's just based on talking, really, isn't it?
Yeah. And it just helped the situation.
And that's it.
So if you do want to read the book still, even though you know the plot.
The biggest factor is just talking. You can't say it enough, really.
And again, we've mentioned it, several times throughout this conversation. It really, really is important. Brocon said, this is why we need to break down the barriers. A company is only as good as its workers. Agree, and the better your workers are feeling, the more positive they're coming in the morning. It helps everyone.
100% agreed.
It has a positive effect all around. Lee says the other thing with companies offering free mental health support will result in staff leaving less supportive companies to join those with provision in place. So eventually the pressure will mount and companies will buy in.
Exactly. And that's what I'm trying to say. It's literally, it's probably the most positive thing you could do. So you're having a positive competition. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Lee, you've literally just said it. If one company starts the trend, they're all going to follow because nobody wants to lose clients at the end of the day. Yeah. So
that's it. If people are moving on to keep staff, they're going to have to jump in line. So
literally.
Fantastic. Well, we'll stop bringing this to an end because I know you've got your fitness stuff. But I just wanted to touch on that because fitness, and doing exercise as such, whether it's running, walking, going to the gyms when you can, and just doing, some treadmill work, some muscle work, whatever. It can be great for mental health. And really sort of helps you focus, helps you get all your sort of worries out. That's it. As a sort of fitness expert, have you got any advice for us on that?
Well, obviously, I'll touch on what I said before about like positive and negative energy. This is just my opinion. I feel when you work out, it just the negative energy you can just recharge into positive. I do a group, which is obviously through Zoom. There's people on there I know that suffer with anxiety, confidence, everything like that. Obviously depression, the big things like that. But they've come on to these classes, they've done the cardio, all this stuff I'm doing, core, whatever. It's just a massive difference. And they text me privately saying that really helped with my anxiety, that really helped with my depression today, that really helped with my confidence. Because at the end of the day, you're on a camera in front of people. Yeah. So it is going to build all that. If you're not into exercise, I'd say try it, give it a go, and you might find yourself falling in love with it. Again, at the minute, my classes are actually free. If you want to come on and get a taster of what it's like, happily just come on. You can contact me through my Instagram page, which is Correy Davidson, or Scott can pass you on my number through the group. That's fine. But again, they're free, so just come on if you really want to just enjoy. Because the group we have, Scott knows, they're all fun. There's a laugh on the group. It's just a nice environment. It's all positive, literally all positive, which is what sometimes you need.
It is. I think I can sort of vouch on that. Where I was, I think it was the first one that you did. I remember having, and I did a few more after that, where you could see people were really like sort of changing. Like start with it started as a bit of a laugh for people. Like they just, oh god, I can't do this. It's funny. I'm tired after. I was coming off the screen going, in the breaks and then trying to come back on all cool. Like, yeah, now I'm fine. But as it went on, people did start to get into it more. They became more focused in it. You could see they were feeling better. I saw the comments in the group and people saying, God, I feel so much better after that workout last night.
That's all it is. It's just trying to help people, isn't it?
Yeah. And again, for myself, for when I've done them, I felt so much better coming out of them next days. Even if it's not just about losing weight, getting fitter, it can just help you with your state of mind if that's what you want to do.
And that's literally what I'm trying to pass on to everyone else. Like I've put out a few messages, obviously, on Facebook and Instagram, and all I say is, if you need help, mental health wise, just come in and do the class. If you can't pay, you can't pay. That's fine. I don't really care about the money as such. Just come on and just help yourself, and I'll help you help yourself. And that's all it is.
Yeah, and that's fantastic to hear, Corey, that you're helping. So if anybody does want to get involved, again, contact Corey. He is on our page at the moment, or if you can't find him, contact me. I can put you in touch. We are just going to finish off now because I know Corey has got one of his lessons in about 10 minutes.
Literally, yeah.
Just to run through some of the last few quick comments we've got. So Bethany Hatton says, I find it so hard to get the motivation to help me. Again, Beth, on that, I'd say it's not just about for you to sort of have that burden on yourself to do it, talk to other people, get involved. I always find for me, if I go to the gym on my own, I'm there for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
and then I'm out. If I go with friends, I'm there for like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to. It's like, again, going back to the business thing. It's like a competition.
Yeah.
I don't want to
Yeah.
be the guy leaving like hour before everyone else.
Yeah.
So I'm
Absolutely.
staying
It's
up,
like
push myself.
sometimes it's healthy to bounce off people. You know what I mean? Friendly competition, anything like that. Do you know what I mean? Even if you love reading, you're like, well, I bet you I can read more books than you in a week. You know what I mean? No, you can't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just fun. It's fun.
That's
healthy.
it, and it does. Like I said, it adds that. It makes it a bit more enjoyable as well, and that full element to it. And again, fun is always positive, which is great.
Exactly. That's exactly it, isn't it?
Rob says the NHS needs to step up. If you are in the area, I will walk with you out, but don't be upset if you fail. Kat says, do Corey's workouts to Beth. I will join with you. So I think we've got a few more people there joining in. Again, if anyone wants to, just let us know. They are fantastic. I'll take part myself when I can. Although Corey's probably a bit upset because I missed a few recently.
He's missed a few now, and I'm waiting for him to come back on to get involved again.
Yeah, chickened out. He's a slave driver. That's the problem. Amy says, I would like to join the fitness class, please. So there we go, Corey.
Brilliant.
I'll pass all your details on for you.
Yeah, just send her the WhatsApp number, Scott, and if she just drops me a message, I'll add her straight into the group straight away.
There we go. I'll send those over for you guys. And Rob says, where will this be going on regarding working out? Rob, it's done on Zoom. So exactly what you're doing now. All you need to do is just join the Zoom, and then Corey will talk you through. But you have to have your camera on as well, so he can sort of notice if you're not doing what you should be doing. I tried to pretend my camera was broke a few times and turned it off.
And look, I understand if there's a confidence thing, if you're not like comfortable being in front of the camera, but trust me, the group that we have are just so spot on. And normally I'm on the camera, so nobody's going to be looking at you anyway. Yeah. But the group is brilliant. So if you're worried about being shy, being confident, look, I reassure you, don't. Honestly, it's such a comfortable environment to be in, and nobody judges anyone. Trust me.
No, that is true. It's very good. I remember my first couple of times on there, and I was struggling a little bit, and not just Corey, but everyone else was kind of saying, "Oh, come on, all well done." After you've done it, there's a lot of encouragement from everyone on there. So it is great. Join in. I think we've got a few for you, Corey.
Brilliant.
And Kat says, Scott, get your arse in gear. Make sure he's on, Corey. It will just turn up outside your house and work out on your drive. So,
brilliant. I love that.
I don't think I'll be doing it outside, so I'll stick to doing it inside.
A bit cold outside now.
But Corey, thank you very much for joining us there.
Thank you.
And in the comments, it's helped a lot of people. And it's given a lot of fuel for thought with people, a lot of insight. So thank you again for joining us. And hopefully you'll be seeing a lot more of these people on your Zooms very soon.
It's been a pleasure, and thanks everyone for the comments and questions and statements. Obviously, it's been an eye-opener on my side as well, just seeing what other people are going through as well, and obviously the work that Rob's put in. It's amazing that there's still people out there that's doing stuff like that, and it's a credit to you all. So yeah, I've had fun chatting about it. It's been good. It's been a good experience on my part as well, actually speaking out loud about it. So thanks for giving me that opportunity, Scott. So it's been good. No problem.
Thank you again for joining us. And as Corey said, thank you to everyone that's put their comments in. Again, these sort of things only work with your feedback, and the comments have been amazing. A lot of you have opened up in there and said things, that are quite personal, that are quite upsetting. Again, Rob, what you open up with is incredible. So thank you for sharing, and hopefully we'll talk soon. And remember, we're always here if you need to talk.
Yeah, we are indeed. Thanks, Scott.
Thanks everyone. Thanks, Corey.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.